Hey, I am Shaman Harper. This is Yolanda Harper. We are the co-founders of Harper Therapy, and there's you did this big thing.
My heart is racing right now.
Really?
It is. It is.
Because Yolanda has written a book,
I have.
and
You can actually buy this
right,
book.
and it's actually out now.
It's mind-blowing.
It is kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And I think it's very, very cool.
You think it's cool. I think it's terrifying and cool at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I keep saying I was never the person who was like, I am going to write a book one day.
Right.
I am a writer and an author and I'm going to publish one day. No, I had this experience and I tried to make sense of it. In my own way of trying to make sense of things, put some words to it. And people resonated with the words.
Right, but to say you're not a writer, you journal.
I do. Look, it's never far.
Right.
This is the current rendition, yes.
Right. So, I mean, you do write.
Yes,
you just
I do.
haven't
That's
written
right.
for other people.
I haven't written in for a purpose of publishing anything.
And your book is called Soul Sabbatical.
It is called Soul Sabbatical.
And
Yes, it is.
it's a really cool book, if I don't say
You're
so.
you're a little biased, but
Maybe
I do
I'm
appreciate
biased. I
that. Also, he read the book, and I was like, "Well, what do you think?" He was like, "Yeah, I was there."
Yeah. So, I mean, so it's not a fiction work or anything like that.
No, it's not.
Tell us a little bit about what the book's about.
So, where do we start? 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, I was in a space where I had a stark realization, this is not working.
Right. And by this, what do you mean?
The way that my life, was structured, and just day in and day out, and so we had stepped away from the business, from the practice, from my work as a trauma and relationship therapist. We were doing a business retreat with a bunch of good friends. There's this little exercise that I do in my journal from time to time called the perfect day exercise, which is just what would a day of fully living your life instead of half living your life? What does that look like? Right. And as I did that exercise, I was like, this is nothing
near where
what
I'm at.
My life is right now.
Right.
And let me be very clear, I'm very blessed and I'm very fortunate. And
absolutely.
There's not anything horrible about my life, but I did realize that I was half living, and that by half living, what I mean is you're waiting for the next thing.
Right.
You're waiting for the next vacation. You're waiting for the next certification. You're waiting for the next job promotion. You're waiting for the next thing.
You're never in the moment and enjoying the moment and
right. And I had sprinkled into my life just enough of those self-care activities to, I think, just take the edge off. Just release enough of that pressure valve, from the overwhelm and the exhaustion and the burnout, to be oh, okay, let's get back into it. And so it was a stark realization that I could keep kicking that can down the road, but at some point it was going to lead to a much bigger consequence.
Sure. And I remember you started just from your journals posting some of your entries.
A little bit, yeah.
And a lot of your people that follow you on social media and friends and stuff started commenting.
Yeah.
Wow, you're really writing some
Yeah.
stuff that that I feel coming up in my life. And
because from that experience I started I had been talking for years. I'd been joking around about taking a sabbatical, and it was who does that? I'm not some kind of professor off to do research. I'm not, I'm not going to write a book. I'm not, so it was who am I to take a sabbatical? Only that started becoming more and more of a real conversation, as opposed to half living my life, or they call it bed rot these days. Have you heard this phrase?
Wow, that's new one on me.
I know.
Right.
I heard that the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Bed rot.
Bed rot. Like, I feel that so hard. Like, I totally get that. And talk about half living. Like, bed rot is like getting to a space where you just, like, you're laying in bed.
Right. Okay. I mean, I could see that.
You're just like not, not doing, like, resting and not doing, but really it's kind of like numbing your life and checking out. And like,
right.
It can turn, not that it's that for everybody.
Yeah, it can turn.
But in my life, that's what it has looked like in the past. Like, I haven't called it bed rot. I called it drooling on my, like, I'm just laying around drooling
Go
on myself.
Go home, your mind is mush. You're just kind of like,
right. And you're like, I can't even move. Right. And you do that just long enough to release a little bit of the pressure so that you can go back and do the same old stuff.
Right.
So the sabbatical and kind of planning the sabbatical was like, okay, what is the possibility of what my life can look like without needing to do the bed rot or the drooling on myself?
And that took a little deep work.
I don't do anything easy or light.
Never really do. You never really
I go deep with pretty much everything that I do. Right. Yeah. But it was really that. I mean, that was part of it. It was understanding. It was like these deeper things that kept feeding the way that I kept returning back to the old patterns.
Right.
Yeah, and those are not conversations that we tend to have.
And you've taken this book, and it's kind of a roadmap for other people.
Yeah, it's an invitation.
Right.
It's an invitation to explore for yourself, like what these things look like for you in your own life. Right,
and then to maybe start putting things in place in their lives.
The invitation is there.
The invitation.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. It is. It is what it is.
Right.
But it's out in the world now and available at all of your
places.
The places that you buy books.
So,
I don't know. That's all I know about publishing a book.
We'll put a link here in the blog entry and on the video and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But this is really about reconnecting with your heart, and the invitation is to revive the heart and to reconnect with your time and energy and joy and have more of that. So I invite you along on this journey over the next few weeks as we talk a little bit more about it. But
Check it out.
Thanks for watching.